no matter what, there's always some element of the psychological involved in people with persistent symptoms, whether that be anxiety or depression or other types of mood issues. Where if you think about it, when you're suffering from persistent symptoms for this long, you're going to be a little bit down. You can't do the things you want to do. You might be anxious about why you're still having symptoms. But those anxiety, depression, feeling down can lead to the same symptoms as concussion. So now what are we dealing with? Are we dealing with somebody who's starting to have a little bit of depression? Or are we dealing with ongoing concussion symptoms? Are we dealing with somebody who has a little bit of anxiety? Or are we dealing with ongoing concussion symptoms? Because they look very similar from a clinical standpoint, and oftentimes it's difficult to kind of parse them out. There's another concept called the good old days bias, which people with any type of injury, particularly in the concussion end of things, they don't remember what it's like to be normal. So you always will assume that, well, I never had this before. My memory was always, super, super sharp. I never would be forgetful like this before. Well, everyone has their moments where they're forgetful, or everyone has their moments when they're talking with somebody and they're not really, paying attention to what they're saying. And then at the end they go, I can't remember what that person's name is. And they attribute that to being a memory problem. That's not necessarily a memory problem. That's the fact that you were inattentive at the time that you were talking to them, right? But somebody with a concussion will attribute that to concussion. It's my brain. My brain is dysfunctional, because they don't remember what it's like to be a normal human being. And so that right there creates this self-fulfilling prophecy that you still have problems. And so you look for those problems. Maybe my visual system is a little bit messed up. So you start staring at things for a prolonged period of time and realize, yeah, when I look at that, I kind of go cross-eyed and things get blurry. I have a visual problem. Oh, my concussion is still here, right? So the psychological thing can play into your mind. Your mind is the most powerful thing that we have, and it can play a lot of tricks on you. And so the more you start thinking that you might have an issue, or the more you start thinking that you start looking for things throughout your day that kind of reaffirm the fact that you still have ongoing issues, which then makes it top of mind again, which then brings up all the symptoms, and away we go from there, right? So the psychological piece is huge in anybody that's had symptoms for longer than about 6 weeks, let's say, and oftentimes before that. So psychological intervention, generally that will be referred on to a psychologist for co-management.